This blue battery right here is SmallRig's new NP-FZ100 battery, which is meant for Sony professional cameras. Now, you may have seen it already. The special thing about this battery is the fact that it has a USB-C on top, which means you can power it without having a battery charger. Now, normally, I don't recommend using third-party batteries. I actually have tons. This is the Sony OEM NP-FZ100 battery. I have a few of these, and they work really well. However, one of the things Sony started doing, some people are reporting that in certain countries, some Sony cameras are still getting battery chargers, but at least here in the US, Sony's not giving us a battery charger with the FX30 and similar cameras anymore. They just want you to charge it through the camera or buy the additional battery charger. For me, that isn't a big deal because if you've been watching the channel lately, a lot of my shtick has been trying to get my setups to be as small as possible. So being able to charge the battery through the camera really isn't the biggest deal breaker for me. But what becomes an issue is if I'm in the field and I need to be able to charge batteries, but the only way I can do it is through my camera, and I don't want to necessarily bring a charger, well then I've been kind of out of luck lately. I've just been forced to be able to charge the batteries through the camera. However, now being able to have the option to charge this battery right here on the USB port, it begs the issue of, I don't necessarily want to get a fleet of these, but maybe carrying one of these for an emergency in addition to my other OEM batteries, maybe it's an option. So in today's video, I did some testing on how these actually work compared to the OEM batteries on the FX30. So I'll show you some of the timestamps and I'll go over my thoughts after using this battery for a few days, because I think, in my opinion, this battery is worth having as a total backup battery. You need a battery that maybe you hook up to a power bank because you really need to have that extra power, whatever reason. It doesn't take up as much room as a charger, and you can have that extra battery in your setup. But I think the run times and everything like that is definitely going to have to be a consideration for you. And I only have the run times using the FX30. The times are going to vary from camera to camera. I use the 4K HS 24 frames per second mode at 422 10-bit with this battery just to see how long it would last. So let me pull up my times that I got on here. When it comes to the stock battery, I got 3 hours and 1 minute. So that's pretty good, and it's part of the reason I've moved to Sony, because being able to get that much battery life out of a small little battery like this, pretty decent. Now on this battery, I didn't quite get as much, but I was kind of pleasantly surprised with how much I did get. So I got 2 hours and 38 minutes compared to the 3 hours and 1 minute. That's around a 23-minute difference from battery to battery. So this is still, pretty decent. You get pretty decent battery life on it. But again, you also get the USB-C charging. So it becomes one of those things where, like I was saying, it may be worth it to have an extra one of these in your bag. I don't know how I feel about necessarily getting a fleet of these. Obviously, for me saying that, I did buy this. I actually got it on Prime Day. They were doing a sale on these. So SmallRig hasn't paid me to do this video by any means, but I do think it is worth having an extra one of these, just if you get in a pinch, you want to maybe be able to leave this somewhere. It's a cheaper battery and you can leave it somewhere charging while you're going and shooting, and you know that you have a battery that will be ready to go. So let's talk about charge times. So I used a 20-watt charger on each of these batteries, but I put the OEM battery in the FX30 and I put the SmallRig battery to charge via its USB-C. So with this OEM battery, it charged in 88 minutes through the camera, so almost an hour and a half. Now, SmallRig says that these batteries will charge in 2.5 hours. It was a little bit quicker, but it still did take longer to charge this battery. It took around 2 hours and 15 minutes to charge this battery in a 20-watt charger. There is a little light that comes on right here. I don't know if you can see it, and that light is red while it's charging, green when it's finished charging. So at least there is a notification so you know what the deal is while it's charging. There is no percentage on here, so you don't know what percentage it's going to be unless you put it in the camera. But the camera does read this as if it was an OEM battery. Again, I'm not going to go out here and say use third-party batteries over the OEM batteries, because when it comes to our mirrorless cameras, I really only like to use the third-party batteries in a pinch. I actually have SmallRig's first NP-FZ100 battery, and I always used it in a pinch, and that's why I felt comfortable buying this one and using it in a pinch, because I've had their other battery. This one makes a lot more sense, and I'll definitely use this one over their original one. There's always rumors that these third-party batteries could potentially do something to your camera, which is why I stick with the OEM batteries, but they are more expensive, so I get it. You know, this is like 78 bucks, and this is around 45 bucks. I got it on sale for Prime Day for like 35, which I was kind of surprised they did a Prime Day sale on this because they just came out. Overall, I have been pleasantly surprised at how this works. I also, at first, didn't know how I was going to feel about it being bright blue. But after having the SmallRig aftermarket battery and then having these OEMs, I actually like that the color difference is so drastic, because when I'm reaching in my bag, I can tell which battery is which, where the older SmallRig battery was black, so I would have to look at the front of the batteries to know. So it is quicker taking it out of my bag. For those of you who have been following the channel and know that I try to keep things as small as possible, this has actually been my travel little case for my camera kit with my FX30, Sigma 18-50, my GoPro, wireless labs, batteries. I can fit all of that in here, including my wallet and my phone. And so everything's so tight and compact, it is nice to just on the top of these batteries, see which one is which so I can quickly choose the right battery. So that's it for the testing that I did on the SmallRig. Now, whether this is something you want to buy, I think that's, you know, a question you're going to have to answer for yourself after seeing, you know, what it's capable of, if you want to be able to have one as a backup. As I said, I don't necessarily recommend using the third-party batteries as a main battery over the OEM batteries, but they are nice to have in a backup, especially with the USB-C charging. That makes a lot of sense. That's going to be it for today's video. If you have any more tests, any questions you have on SmallRig's new FZ100 battery, make sure to ask in the comments below. If you have any ideas, any future videos you want to see, make sure to ask there in the comments below as well. If you got knowledge and value out of today's video, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with the latest videos from the channel. And as always, thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, my name's Geoff Fagien, and I will see you in the next video.